So I travelled quite extensively for the next couple of years for Africa and America and things like that. And we eventually ended up back here in New Zealand and went to go and see the surgeons here, but there was a huge queue to go and do it publicly. So I remember we paid and went off to the first appointment just to get an assessment as to where I was. I realised I was massively beneficial in the fact that I had experienced life before epilepsy. So I was only in my early 20s once I'd become it. So now I'm about 26 years old. But coming from England to here, there was no public transport, and so that was the main reason we sort of had stuck around in Europe and became quite an item. So amongst my friends and that, they'd sort of ring up and ask if I needed to get somewhere. My work was very considerate, and they let me catch a cab home if I worked late and things like that. But it got quite aggravated of having quite a few fits, and so I think then you start getting serious about what you actually want to try and achieve and looking at it all. So when we made our private appointment and with the neurosurgeons and everything, it was great because at the end of it, the surgeon he called us aside and asked if I wanted to become a guinea pig on a trial drug, and it was worth it in the end. But it helped me understand things. I went through a stage of having 120 probes in my head and sitting in the hospital and getting all assessed. And it was then you realise that there was, back in those days, a lot of testing of things of how it was. And everybody is epileptically different. Everybody. I mean, so even the common person is epileptic, but their brain just slows down, whereas mine had something that ignited it and just went into an excitement to the point that I had a spasm. And so with all these 120 probes in my head, they eventually found that down here on my left side, which is your memory side of your brain, there was one continual trigger point that always got to it, and it sort of accelerated it all off. And so it was agreed, I think they had to get it approved by several surgeons, I think not just nationally, internationally. And it was agreed that yes, we could go ahead with the surgery, but it was a risk factor. And it was mainly just to avoid, because at that stage I'd been trialled on drugs. I was, I think, 26 drugs a day, all these different things of trying things out, which you have to go through. Unfortunately, it's something that isn't really known about at this stage. And so there isn't just, you've got this, take this. And so everybody is different, everybody. And so you have to go through all that procedure to find out what you actually are.